Thank you so very much for the statement. And let us begin with our questions. I am known, whether it's on this committee or on other committees on which I serve, to ask nominees about their views, their level of engagement on Arctic issues. The United States is an Arctic nation, and I believe we have a significant leadership role to play. And as I ask this question, I also want to thank you because it has been under your direction and your leadership at Department of Energy that we have seen a stepped-up interest from DOE towards Arctic-related interests. The presence that we had in Reykjavik just 6 weeks ago at the Arctic Circle Assembly, the number of national lab directors that were part of that conference was noteworthy and generated a buzz and a level of excitement about the role that the United States is playing in this sector. So I would ask for your comments on what you believe the level of engagement should be on these Arctic-related issues. And as you speak to that, as I mentioned in my comments, you've had an opportunity to come to Alaska to see some of the benefits that come from a energy producing state, not only with our oil, our gas, our fossil resources, but what we host with microgrids, with the wind that we saw in Kiniganak and Kwingillangok, the solar, everything that we're doing to reduce our reliance on diesel-powered generation. You saw the efforts of the Cold Climate Housing Research Center in efforts to bring about greater efficiencies. And as you know, I've been working to push for greater coordinated research in the state, but more broadly to the Arctic in general. I've been advocating for the department to reconstitute the Arctic Energy Office. So within this context of Arctic and the role of the Department of Energy, if you could address that, please.
Sure. Madam Chairman, thank you. To answer your question very straightforwardly and succinctly, we need to do more, not less. So you can expect from the Department of Energy, should I be confirmed as Secretary, an increased engagement, not only in Alaska, but in the Arctic region generally. Some of the things that we have seen over the years, and we've all have different perspectives. I know some of you serve on the Armed Services Committee, and the Arctic means a strategic advantage to those who are focused on those issues. For those of us in the energy business and the energy industry, if you will, energy policy industry, we see the Arctic as not only a resource for things like critical minerals and potentially environmentally sensitive energy development. We see it for the purpose of not just extracting oil and gas. I think it's expanded beyond that much further than we could have imagined. And what I mean by that is that, as we move to a world of more and more renewable energy, our ability to develop battery storage becomes more and more critical. And the minerals that we currently receive today, or we rely upon, I should say, for the development of those types of batteries, we become dependent upon nation states who quite candidly do not have our interests at heart. And the Arctic is potentially a resource for those types of minerals. I will tell you from where I sit at the U.S. Department of Energy, what you can expect from us is attendance at events like the upcoming 2020 Geothermal Congress in Iceland. We will have a strong and robust presence there. DOE will also help lead, and this may sound a little bit counterintuitive for those who are not familiar with Iceland or places in the Arctic. We will lead a supercomputing Congress in Iceland in 2020. So we're very excited about that. We think that's important. We think that outreach is important, again, for strategic reasons, but also for our energy development and our energy security here in the United States.
Well, I thank you for that. I'm sure that we can anticipate further engagement and really enhanced engagement, because as you note, it's not just energy. It is commerce, it's environment, it is the impact that we're seeing from a rapidly changing part of the globe. Very quickly here on the Office of Indian Energy. It's one of the smaller offices there at DOE, but it certainly has an outsized importance in my state. OIE is a key partner for Native communities that really need to work to reduce their high energy costs. And right now, we've got one DOE employee that is there in the state. Years ago, we got a commitment to increase that. I know that you have seen this, but I am once again seeking a commitment from you to recognize the potential that we have within OIE and make sure that we are staffing appropriately.
Madam Chairman, I'll give you two commitments. One, we're going to expand the Office of Indian Energy. We are currently in the market to hire 2 people there, so that will be expanded. We will also open an Arctic office that will be fully staffed by the end of 2020. So I give you those 2 firm commitments. I hope it demonstrates our interest in and the strategic importance of the Arctic to the U.S. Department of Energy.
The Arctic Energy Office, we think, is going to be key, again, not only for the U.S. Arctic, but I think the Arctic as a whole. So we thank you for that.